I woke up to the sound of my neighbor's dog barking and my phone buzzing on the nightstand. First thought? Maybe a happy birthday text. I turned 28 that morning. Figured I might hear from someone at the shop, or maybe Uncle Ray. I grabbed my phone. Nothing. No missed calls, no texts, no group chat memes. Just a Facebook notification. I tapped it, and there it was. A photo dump posted by my cousin's girlfriend. Her caption hit harder than any gut punch I've ever taken. So proud of Marcus. He's always been the one to watch. Big things ahead. Every picture was from some surprise send-off party for my little brother. Balloons, big silver letters spelling out Go Marcus, a catered spread, a goddamn speech podium, and our whole family lined up for group hugs and teary selfies. Marcus was smiling with that stupid confidence he's always had without earning it. My mom was in one photo, arms around him, handing him a box. I could tell from the angle it was a watch box. I'd been eyeing that same model for months. I scrolled back up and stared at the post. That party happened last night. The night before my birthday. No one mentioned it. Not a single heads up, no invite, no sorry we're busy, nothing. I was 20 minutes away eating leftover spaghetti and watching reruns while they all toasted the golden child. I typed out a comment. Looks like a great party. Couple minutes later, Mom replied. We only celebrate those who aim high. That was her whole response. Like I hadn't been holding down a full-time job, helping at Uncle Ray's shop, and paying my bills while Marcus coasted through life like it owed him something. I shot back. Hope it lasts. I put my phone down and stared at the ceiling. The anger didn't burn hot. It just sat there, low and heavy, like a weight in my chest. I didn't cry. Instead, I walked out to my truck, grabbed my old tripod from under the seat, and came back in. I set up my phone, hit record, and looked dead into the camera. My name's Danielle. I just turned 28. My family threw a party last night for my little brother, not me, not even a text. Have you ever been the one left out, even by your own blood? Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I hit save on the video and uploaded it. Let them all hear it straight from me. Growing up in Fallon, Nevada, we looked like a close family. That's what people thought anyway. Small town, small talk, small truths. My dad worked long-haul trucking, gone most weeks. Mom worked part-time at the diner. Me and Marcus were mostly raised by Uncle Ray, who owned the body shop on First Street. I was always around the shop after school. At 10 years old, I was wiping down tools and stacking tires, trying not to screw up anything that could kill me. Marcus, 3 years younger, would show up in his Little League uniform and everybody would clap like he'd just hit a grand slam. He didn't even play half the time, just sat on the bench chewing sunflower seeds, and still got a Dairy Queen stop after. Meanwhile, I'd bust my knuckles on a rusted-out pickup and get told to quit complaining. When I turned 11, I begged Mom to let me go to the county fair with my friends. I even had it all planned out. Ride tickets, corn dogs, funnel cake. She said money was tight. 2 days later, I watched her hand over a crumpled envelope of cash to Uncle Ray for Marcus's football gear. He quit after 2 weeks. Didn't even make it through September. Said it was too early for him to know if he liked it. That was Marcus. Try something, get bored, move on. And somehow, he always had cheerleaders. Our parents split up not long after that. Dad left for good. No big blowout, just gone. Mom moved 2 trailers over from Uncle Ray's, said it made co-parenting easier. I stayed with Uncle Ray full-time, not because anyone asked me what I wanted. It just made sense. I was already helping with the shop, already the easy one. Marcus went with Mom. She said he needed her more. By the time I was 13, I was getting up early on weekends to clean the shop before Ray got there. Marcus was still sleeping in until noon, playing Xbox in his boxers. He started skipping school in 10th grade. Dropped out a year later. Mom called it figuring himself out. She used to tell me, "You don't need much, Danny. You're steady. Your brother's got a lot going on inside." Like that was some kind of medal. I didn't need much. I could handle everything. It's amazing how quickly "you're dependable" turns into "you don't count." I remember once, during junior year, I got straight A's for the first time. I walked over to Mom's to show her the report card. She didn't even look up from her soap opera. "That's great, honey," she mumbled, tossing it on the table. "Hey, Could you see if Marcus wants mac and cheese or nuggets tonight? That night, I ate a microwaved burrito alone at Uncle Ray's, while Marcus got a whole pot of shells and cheese shaped like dinosaurs. The day I got my certificate from the Community Auto Tech program, Uncle Ray clapped me on the back and said, "You're gonna run this place one day." 2 months later, I was managing inventory, ordering parts, training the new guys. Nothing fancy, but it was steady. I liked steady. Marcus, meanwhile, was already on job number 5. First it was tree trimming, lasted a week. Then pest control, which ended after some lady yelled at him for spraying the wrong unit. After that came the candle thing. He swore it wasn't a pyramid scheme, said it was direct sales with unlimited potential. He recruited 3 friends and burned through my old laptop before giving up. Every time something failed, he'd show up with that same half-apology voice. "Danny, I just need a little to get back on track." And every time I'd pull a couple hundred out of my savings and hand it over, just to shut him up, just to keep the peace. One time he asked for $700, said it was for a deposit on a place with a buddy from church. I transferred the money that night. 2 months later, I ran into a girl he'd been seeing at the gas station. She smiled and said, "Glad Marcus finally moved in with me. I covered the deposit, but he's been good about the dishes." I didn't say a damn word. Just nodded, paid for my coffee, and drove to work like it didn't matter. That's what I did. I kept moving, paid off my truck, got my credit score up, took weekend shifts when the younger guys bailed, built something solid, even if no one clapped for me when I showed up every day. Then came the car accident. Marcus had been driving that old Ford Focus Mom gave him. He took a corner too fast on wet pavement, slammed into a mailbox, and cracked the radiator clean through. He called me from the tow lot, voice all shaky like it wasn't his fault. "I don't know what to do, Danny." I told him I'd handle it. I spent my Saturday digging through auction sites, found a used Honda with decent mileage, and wired the seller the money before Marcus even saw it. I drove an hour to pick it up, then another half hour dropping it off at his place. He opened the door barefoot, said, "Cool, thanks," and went back inside. No hug, no handshake. Not even a damn, "I'll pay you back." I got in my truck, pulled out of his driveway, and went straight back to work. No lunch, no break, just silence and a wrench in my hand. A few weeks before my birthday, Uncle Ray caught me by the shop fridge grabbing a soda and said, "Hey, think you could throw in a little something special for the family?" I wiped my hands on my coveralls and said, "What kind of something?" He shrugged like it wasn't a big deal. "Just a little surprise thing coming up. I'll tell you more soon." I figured maybe he was finally retiring. Guy had been talking about it for years, but never pulled the trigger. He was slowing down, groaning more when he bent over a fender. So I sent him $400 that night without asking questions. He texted back, "Appreciate it, kid. No details, no follow-up." Then came the night before my birthday. I got home around 7, reheated some leftover lasagna, and sat down on the couch in my work uniform, still smelling like brake fluid. I was scrolling through Facebook, mostly out of habit, when I saw the post from my cousin's girlfriend. It was a full album. Surprise send-off for Marcus. Big things ahead. There were 32 photos. 32. All high resolution. Someone clearly brought a DSLR. Marcus was front and center under a big-ass banner that read, "Good luck in Arizona." People were clapping, giving toasts. Mom was wiping tears. Uncle Ray stood next to a table loaded with catered trays and party favors. The caption made it sound like Marcus had just signed a record deal. But after reading a few comments, I found out the truth. He wasn't even hired yet. He was interviewing for an HVAC job in Phoenix. No offer, no start date. Just a maybe. And they threw him a damn send-off party. I kept scrolling. Someone caught a shot of him opening gifts. There, in the middle of the table, was a small blue box with a silver ribbon. I zoomed in, and my stomach dropped. It was the exact model watch I'd been saving up for. A Seiko automatic, nothing flashy, but it was the one I wanted to get myself for my birthday. I'd been putting away $50 a month for nearly a year. In the photo, my mom was handing it to him, smiling like he'd just graduated top of his class. Marcus looked shocked, but not in the grateful way, more like finally, what took so long? I didn't even realize my fork had stopped halfway to my mouth. I looked down at the cold lasagna on my plate, still in the microwave container. I was sitting on a hand-me-down couch in a trailer I paid for myself, wearing boots I'd resold twice, staring at a party I helped fund, for a guy who hadn't held a job longer than 6 months. I felt it all hit at once, not anger, not even jealousy, just hollow. They didn't see me, they saw a debit card. I didn't throw my plate or scream or send a rage text. I finished my food, put the fork in the sink, and pulled out my phone. Clicked open my banking app. $400 gone. I scrolled back to that photo with the watch and zoomed in one more time, burned the image into my brain. Then I tossed my phone on the couch and grabbed the tripod. I set the tripod down and picked my phone back up. I went back to the party post. My thumb hovered for a second. Then I typed 3 words into the comment box. "Nice watch, bro," and hit send. Didn't expect a reply right away. Just left it there like a nail on the road and waited. About an hour later, I saw the first notification. Aunt Pam. He earned it. That was her whole comment. Just dropped it like a fact. This was the same woman who once asked me to change her brake pads for free because you're good with your hands. Then came Mom. You know who shows real drive? Marcus. That one stopped me. Real drive? For what? Leaving town for an interview? Meanwhile, I've been busting my ass for 10 years, and all I got was told to be patient. I sat on the couch staring at the screen, knuckles tight around the phone. Then it popped up. Marcus. Don't worry, sis. Maybe next year you'll have something worth clapping for. I didn't move. Just kept rereading that line like it might change. Something worth clapping for. It wasn't the words, it was the tone. That little smirk he always had growing up. The one that said rules didn't apply to him. That I was just the one holding the flashlight while he took the credit. I stood up, walked to the kitchen drawer, and pulled out the spiral notebook I kept shoved in the back with old receipts. I flipped through every page. Rent help, gas money, groceries. That investment in his side hustle. $700 for that fake apartment deposit. $300 for tools that never showed up. The auction car, cell phone bills, overdue insurance. 1 emergency dental visit. Every dollar, every date. Total? $14,362 in 5 years. I had the proof. All of it. That night, I logged into my bank app, went to the automatic transfer tab, and deleted the payment to Marcus's account. It had been set to send him $100 every other Friday, just in case. No message, no warning. I hit cancel. Sat there in the glow of my laptop screen, arms crossed, heart beating steady for the first time in a long while. First thing the next morning, I pulled up the lease agreement in my email. I still had the PDF from when Marcus moved in. He needed a co-signer, but didn't want Mom to do it. Said she stressed him out. I found the landlord's number and called straight from the shop's break room. He answered on the second ring. "Hey, it's Danielle Harper," I said. "I'm calling to let you know I'm not covering anything else for Marcus. Not rent, not late fees, not utilities. That arrangement's over." There was a pause. "You sure?" "Completely." "Okay," he said, slow like he thought I might crack. "Guess I'll let him know he's on his own." I hung up. Then I texted Marcus. "You're on your own now. Time to grow up." No emojis, no punctuation, just the facts. He didn't respond. Not that day, not the next. But 2 days later, I was elbow deep in a rusted-out RAM at the shop when my phone buzzed. Voicemail. I recognized the number before it finished ringing. I stepped outside, wiped my hands on my jeans, and played it. It was Mom. Her voice came through sharp, like she'd been rehearsing it. "You've embarrassed this family, Danielle. Your brother's facing eviction, and you're out here playing hard-ass. He needed your help, and you turned your back on him. I don't even know who you are anymore." I didn't play it twice. 10 minutes later, the text started rolling in. "Cousin Jenna, I know Marcus can be a lot, but family's family. One of the guys from the shop I used to work with before managing. Didn't take you for the type to kick a man while he's down." Even Aunt Pam chimed in. "You're better than this. You've always been the strong one." That one pissed me off the most. Because it wasn't a compliment. It was a leash. Being the strong one meant I was expected to carry the weight, stay quiet, and never need anything back. I didn't answer any of them. I just sat on the back steps of the shop, looking out at the busted fence that leaned like it was tired of holding up lies. I lit a cigarette even though I'd quit a year ago. Just needed something in my hand that wasn't my phone. I kept hearing their voices in my head. He's facing eviction. He needed you. You're better than this. They acted like Marcus had been working himself to the bone and just stumbled. Like he was some broken soldier who'd earned a little support. But I knew better. Marcus wasn't down. He just never stood up to begin with. It was the following afternoon, maybe 2 hours into my shift, when I saw them. I was mid-sentence explaining a parts order to one of the new techs when the shop door opened. And there they were, Mom, Marcus, and Uncle Ray. They didn't say a word, just stood there like a lineup. I handed off the clipboard and wiped my hands on a rag as I stepped outside. Still in my coveralls, still covered in grease. I didn't even bother taking my gloves off. Mom didn't wait a second. "You're ruining your brother's future," she snapped. "All over some watch?" I raised an eyebrow. "That's what this is about?" "You know damn well what this is about," she said, pointing a finger. "That comment, that text, stopping the payments. What are you trying to prove?" Marcus stayed back, arms crossed, eyes on the sidewalk. Not a word, not even a look in my direction. Uncle Ray shifted his weight but didn't say anything yet. I took a breath, then said it plain. "I'm not giving him another dime. Not for rent, not for groceries, not for gas. I'm done." Mom opened her mouth, but I was already pulling the notebook from my back pocket. I'd brought it with me that day. Something told me I might need it. I flipped it open and held it out. "Here, every dollar, over the past 5 years. 14 grand and change. You think I'm being dramatic? Read it." Uncle Ray stepped closer and squinted at the pages. "You paid his car registration?" he asked, flipping a couple lines down. "Yep." "His tires?" I nodded. "Twice." "And his overdue internet bill," I added, "so he could keep playing Call of Duty instead of applying for jobs." Mom crossed her arms. "That's your choice, Danielle. No one made you do that." "No," I said. "You just expected me to. Because I'm steady, right?" Uncle Ray looked up at me, jaw tight. "Look, I didn't know it was that much." "Because nobody asks," I said. "You all just take." Marcus finally spoke. "I didn't ask for this today," he muttered. "You never have to," I said. "That's the point." He rolled his eyes but still wouldn't look at me. Mom stepped in again. "You're making a scene. We came here to talk." "No," I shot back. "You came here to guilt me. Again." "You've always had your stuff together," she said, her voice softening like that made it better. "You don't need—" "That's not a compliment," I cut her off. "That's an excuse, a way to keep bleeding me dry without feeling bad about it." Uncle Ray let out a slow breath. "I didn't know it was this far gone." "It's been this far," I said. "Y'all just didn't notice because I kept my mouth shut." They all stood there, quiet for a beat. Then Mom tried one last angle. "He's your brother. That means something." I looked her dead in the eyes. "Then maybe he should act like it." I turned and walked back toward the bay doors. Didn't wait for a response. Didn't look back. I walked straight back into the shop after they left. Didn't say a word to anyone. Just grabbed a wrench and buried myself in the next job. My hands didn't stop moving for hours. 3 days later, I got a voicemail from a recruiter I didn't even remember applying to. She said she'd seen my name on a list of certified shop managers and had an opening in Denver. Full-time supervisor, way better pay, relocation package included. I called her back from my truck during lunch. She said, "We'd need you here in 3 weeks. Think you'd be open to it?" I didn't even hesitate. "I'm in." The second I hung up, the weight in my chest let up, just a little, but enough to notice. Later that night, I stopped by the shop to tell Uncle Ray. He was restocking the oil filters, didn't even look up when I walked in. "I got a new job," I said. "Denver, I'm taking it." He froze, holding a case of synthetic in one hand. "Just like that?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just like that." He set the case down slow. "Guess I didn't realize how far gone things were." I shrugged. "You weren't supposed to. I kept it clean so nobody had to ask." He nodded, jaw tight, eyes still on the shelf. He didn't say, "Don't go." He just stood there and let it land. Later that night, Mom's name lit up on my screen. Not a call, a text. Long one. Paragraphs. "If you move, don't bother coming back. You're walking away from your family. That's on you." I stared at the message, reread it twice, then typed back. "I'm not leaving home. I'm building one." She didn't reply. Marcus didn't reach out either, but a few days later, a guy I knew from the shop, Jake, mentioned he saw Marcus loading a couch into the back of a trailer over at Mom's place. He moving back in, Jake asked. Looks like it, I said. Didn't feel anything. No shock, no rage, just confirmation. He was right back where he always landed. And I was already packing. I finished packing just before sunrise. Every box in the bed of my truck was taped, labeled, and strapped down tight. No one offered to help. Not that I expected it. The truck was mine, bought with my hours, my calluses, my credit. No cosigner, no handouts. I stood in the kitchen one last time. The fridge was already unplugged. The floor creaked like always near the sink. I left the place clean, probably cleaner than it had ever been. Before I left, I pulled the trailer keys off my ring and slipped them into an envelope. Wrote Uncle Ray on the front. Drove to the shop, didn't even park, just reached through the old rusted-out mailbox and dropped them in. Didn't knock, didn't say goodbye. The town was still waking up when I pulled out. Gas stations just flipping their lights on. Same 3 guys walking into the diner for their usual. I passed Mom's trailer. Curtains shut tight. No sign of Marcus. When I hit the edge of the lot by the highway, I braked. Sat there in the truck for a second. Looked back once. No one chased me down. No one called. No one showed up in the rear view. I hit the gas. Denver felt like another planet. New roads, new air, no old ghosts lurking in grocery store aisles. My apartment was small but clean. First night, I sat on the floor eating pizza straight from the box and felt more peace than I had in years. The job started fast. Same kind of work, shop supervisor, but better tools, better pay, and coworkers who actually clocked in on time. No one asked about my family. I didn't volunteer anything. 2 weeks after the move, I opened the mailbox and found an envelope with no return address. Inside was a card. Cheap, plain. Inside it said, "You were always the one who showed up. Proud of you." Tucked in the fold was a $20 bill. I stared at it for a minute before sitting down on the stairs outside my building. That was the first time I cried since it all went down. Not loud, not sobbing. Just sat there, letting it happen. It wasn't about the money. It was the words. Uncle Ray never said stuff like that. Not once growing up. He didn't show up to say goodbye, but maybe that card was his goodbye. I wiped my face, stood up, and walked back inside. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel like I owed anyone a damn thing. My 29th birthday hit different. No balloons, no big party. Just a few people from work, some cold drinks in a cooler, and a grill we dragged out behind the building. I brought burgers and hot dogs. One of the guys brought a Bluetooth speaker. Nobody made a speech. Nobody brought up the past. It was exactly what I needed. Halfway through the night, one of the new techs handed me a plain white envelope. "Shop took up a little something," he said, nodding at it. "Happy birthday." Inside was a gift card to the hardware store, more than enough to cover the toolbox I'd been eyeing for months. I didn't even know they noticed I kept walking past it. I stood there holding the card, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something crack open in my chest. Not sadness, not anger, just that feeling. Someone saw me. I walked around the side of the shop, sat on the curb, and let myself cry. Quiet, quick, nothing messy. Just enough to let the weight lift. Nobody came looking for me. Nobody asked why. They let me have the moment. About a month before that, I'd gotten an email from Marcus. First message since the last blow-up. Subject line just said, "Hey." He said he was working part-time at a tire shop, thinking about enrolling in a trade program. Said he was trying to figure things out. Didn't ask for anything. No hint of guilt or spin. Just said he hoped we could talk sometime. I didn't reply. Not yet, but I will. Not because he earned it, and not because I miss him, but because I finally get to decide what I deserve. And I deserve peace. Thanks for listening. Ever had to walk away from the people who took you for granted? Drop your story in the comments. And hit subscribe if you felt this one.